Green light and away we go on the 2025 Italian Grand Prix here at Mugello. This is going to be an absolutely fantastic weekend of action. Mugello is one of the best circuits on the MotoGP calendar. And now, Marc Marquez has his first chance to win on the red Ducati. Can Pecco Bagnaia stop him as he's been so dominant here before? It's time for the first practice session. Well, let's get ready then and head out to the circuit and join Susie Perry, who's up in the commentary box.
The Aragon Push race weekend test and needs to bear fruit with those improvements, whether it is they talked about the bigger discs, giving him the feeling to brake as he did before, and he needs to be able to feel the front tyre, really decelerate into the turn and make it work for him. And yeah, this session will tell a tale.
Yeah, we'll talk about testing them while they're getting going and getting up to speed, really. As you said, Ducati, they're trying to improve that front feel for both riders, but mainly for Pecco and the other Ducati riders as well. Looking at a new fairing as well for Pecco, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they're trying the new aero option. I don't know if they're running it here. I haven't seen yet.
KTM, though, it seemed, Michael, had maybe the most toys in the box to play with. We saw the salad boxes out, didn't we, again? The new Stegosaurus wings, some new ones there. Do you want to explain technically what I'm talking about there?
The mass damper in the seat unit, it's something we've seen in the early rounds from KTM. They've revisited it. It is a tuned mass damper, so it adjusts to dampen out those chatter frequencies in various areas, and obviously by adjusting the weight, that mass that's in the seat unit, moving it forward, back, left, right, it's been a bit hit and miss for them. They need more data, they need more information to be able to really dial it in. It is something we believe is in this Ducati seat unit, but they've been using it for 10 years, so they've got mountains of data and they understand how to tune it, whereas KTM's still trying to figure that out, and all the while working on aero changes with the seat unit. So it's a constantly evolving package that looks good in the hands of Maverick Viñales. He was the one who sort of seemed to stick it out a lot more throughout the test with the salad box, with the mass damper in the seat unit. Yeah,
he did top the table, which doesn't surprise anybody because his voice seems to be very good in testing. Marco Bezzecchi was second fastest and Mark up there as well. Do you expect to see any improvements here this weekend from what you know about the test?
From KTM?
From any of the manufacturers,
in general.
really?
Yeah, no. To be honest, it was much of a muchness, the test. I was across all the sessions. I didn't watch it, but obviously we get the hourly sort of lap time update. I mean, Bagnaia said he'd had a good test. It was 9th. It was 0.8 of a second off the overall fastest time, but he didn't do a time attack. So there was nothing that, for me personally, really jumped out where I go, wow, this is incredible. For example, wow, Pecco's clearly found something. He wasn't as fast as Mark at any point in any session, so I'm not overexcited about that. Viñales did what we've seen Viñales do throughout his career. When there's no pressure on him and it's a test, he's hard to beat. He ended up fastest. I thought Bezzecchi, this man was impressive, actually. It was a time attack at the end, but for him to do a 45.7 was pretty impressive. So let's hope maybe a manufacturer we're not talking about. Let's hope Aprilia have found something.
I suppose the headline really of that test was the fact that they gave Manu Gonzalez a shot of the MotoGP bike.
And it's good to see, obviously, the Moto2 crop that come up. Ayagura jumped on the Aprilia immediately fast. And you got to think they're looking at the next fresh crop, and Manu Gonzalez on such form in Moto2, he was worth a punt, and it looked like he just took to it. It was an easy transition, or relatively, to be as close as he was. And yeah, good to see that they could afford to give him that test mid-season.
Obviously they're looking for a bounce back because it's such a brilliant Silverstone, didn't they, with Bezzecchi up there winning. It was a glorious victory. A little bit given by the fact that obviously Fabio Quartararo had that had the problem with his bike, and clearly would have won. Yeah. But then they seemed nowhere in Aragon.
Yeah, so Aragon, it was blurred only because of Marco Bezzecchi's mistake in qualifying. He crashed on his first flying lap, which meant he qualified well down, so it threw him off. And that's your situation when you've only got one rider in a team. we know we've got this man, Salvadori's the replacement rider for Jorge Martin, but when all your eggs in one basket in modern MotoGP, qualify 17th, which that's where Bezzecchi was, it sounds bizarre what I'm going to say. You might as well put the bikes in the van. Might as well go home here, really, because there's probably not got much chance of battling up at the front where we should be. So, and I've got to say, I just had with Manu Gonzalez, I was well impressed with him. He was a second off Raul Fernandez. That's all in the end. He was 2 seconds off the fastest time, but he didn't do a time attack because it was his first test. With all the gizmos, the tyres, to be within 2 seconds having not done a time attack's impressive. And what I love is I've listened to some journalists going, what a waste of time that was. Why did they put him on it? Thought it'd have been better.
Really?
And you're just like, wow.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he was faster than Chantra, actually.
He was. And you're like, some of the journalists that were saying it, I'm thinking, you think after all these years they'd realise how hard these bikes are to ride? Like, yes.
I wonder what Taka Nakagami is thinking. Back in this weekend, obviously Luca Marini injured. They were a man down in the test for Honda, which was a shame for them. But Taka back on the bike, a nice opportunity for him to get some laps in and some racing again.
Obviously, Taka is fast, has been fast around here in the past. The Honda, a very different animal to race this year, and it's good for Taka to get a few races under his belt and in full factory Honda colours for the first time ever. And yeah, good to see. And we've just seen a shot of Luca Marini on pit wall. He's here supporting the squad, returned after that big crash in Suzuka, and not sure how long he's going to be out of action for, but yeah, that was a big prang, and good to see him back and looking healthy whilst he recovers from those injuries.
Yeah, so a few minutes in, then Pecco where he wants to be at the top, and let's not forget Friday's not his greatest day, but he needs to change that, and he needs to change that this weekend. So can he continue?
Yeah, and that's literally what he has to do. And you can imagine Davide Tardozzi, the Ducati team manager, will have been talking to him this morning. What a great shot, by the way. So early on into turn one, the bike just beautifully dancing and skating around it, is it? When you see it in super slow-mo, you can just see how much the bike's moving and how much input the rider has through his handlebars, obviously the leg dangling, trying to control it. And all from a speed of over 220 miles an hour as the track drops away into that technical San Donato turn one. We're going to see a lot of riders go straight there this weekend into the gravel. It's a common trait of trying to understand the fine art of getting a bike stopped from over 220 miles an hour to be as precise in that braking zone.
That shot was so dreamy to watch that. I mean, really, to understand the art of what he's doing on that bike there, it is something quite extraordinary.
And slightly unique to Pecco in the current MotoGP age. The way he likes to stop the bike, he uses a shorter front fork than the rest. He likes to compress the front tyre. He likes the rear to come off the ground and slide in, and it gives him the sensation he wants through the front end of the machine. And without that, he seems a little lost, and that has been a big part of the puzzle that's missed this year with the GP25 machine. But yeah, those shots, straight away the guys in the garage will look at that and go, maybe we've got the Pecco feeling back that we need, and obviously that's what we want to see for this championship. He needs it, and he needs to be able to fight this weekend, fingers crossed.
Because the confidence on that front there, that's what you need at that particular point,
That's the piece of the jigsaw that he said he's missing. So for him to be at that, let's say at that stage, that limit on his third, that was his third flying lap, those images.
Yeah, good signs.
But that's the beauty, Susie, of coming to this is like your reset track. This is where you come and you know, you don't have to think. That's Fabio just been into the gravel. At turn one, like I said, we will see a lot of riders go on at turn one. This is normal. He's got a different helmet design on for this weekend. I think that's something to do with his helmet manufacturer.
Yeah, it's about a film coming up as well, I think, isn't it?
But yeah, Susie, when you come to your let's say your reset track, your default setting, this is it for Pecco. He can go out and literally, when I say he can do a lap time in his sleep, he can. Oh, that's not Raul Fernandez, unfortunately. Crashing at this point early on. He's only done, well, it's his fifth flying lap, so he looks fine. But it's so fast. Arrabbiata won. I mean, what's strange about that corner, certainly at this point in the weekend, you tip into there, and I call it blind faith. It's a real front-endy track. And you have to be so aggressive as you turn the bike into there. You just sort of hope the front tyre sticks. You normally build up to it throughout the weekend, and obviously he's pushed a little bit too much too soon, and he's paid the price.
And Yamaha, during the test, looking at swing arms, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, we've seen a few iterations of the swing arm and frame this season, but yeah, they were working the latest engine spec. They were not that bowled over, not a huge step, but it has improved a lot this season. And then, yeah, some swing arm development. They are operating with this is a little bit late for Fabio. You can see it is a full aluminium swing arm. They got the flex right. You can see on the side of the frame it's very thin. They can bolt some plates there to work on flexibility in mid-turn to make the bike turn a little with the chassis flex. But yeah, it seems like they're on the right path, and obviously we know they've had the V4 on track as well, which is good to see. So a lot of work going on at Yamaha back at the factory.
And they're probably the most interesting factory to be watching at the moment because of that V4 and the development of it, and whether they will use it in 2027, with Top Rack coming in as well. So let's start that chat, shall we? And what do you make, first of all, of the news that he's finally signed?
I'm really excited. I've watched Top Rack for the past probably 4 or 5 seasons, and I think, personally, I've seen some really talented riders over the past 20, 30 years. Top Rack appears to be special. He does things a little bit different. He does things his way. He can ride on the absolute limit consistently. He can ride different manufacturers and achieve the same results. He destroys his teammates. It's the ultimate gauge. We've always said that. Number one, you have to beat your teammate. I mean, Top Rack absolutely destroys them. So, and actually, he was one of the only people early on in his career who beat Jonathan Rea occasionally on the same bike. When he was on a Kawasaki in a lesser team. It wasn't the full factory team. So, yeah, Top Rack's definitely a special talent, and I'm well excited.
Yeah, double World Superbike champion, of course. He's got a particular style, I think it's fair to say, in terms of the way that he rides. He'll be the first Turkish rider to come into MotoGP. He'll be the first World Superbike champion since Ben Spies to come over, and that was pretty successful for Ben, wasn't it?
Yeah, on Yamaha as well. Obviously, when Ben was at the height of his career, Ben was a special talent, and I think Top Rack maybe even another level. Just the way he can ride on a front wheel, he unicycles into the turn, literally rides the front tire, can feel and modulate the brake pressure so well, understands what grip's available to him. He doesn't crash often because he's got such an affinity with his motorcycle. As Neil mentioned, he's won on Kawasaki, on Yamaha, on BMW. You've got to say, throw him on a Yamaha MotoGP bike. Yes, he's got to learn a lot next year with the Michelin tires. Then everything changes. Pirelli's arrived, the 850s arrive in 2027. He'll have a year under his belt because some of these tracks are going to be brand new to him. And yeah, he's got to approach next season with modest targets. But I still think he will surprise and he will impress. And yeah, I look forward. He's going to light things up.
He has the kind of personality that can take all of this on board, and the humility to know that that is a lot to take in. To switch tyres, first of all, for 1 year, and then go to Pirelli's and on another bike again. That for a ride, can you just break down how intense that will be for him?
Well, the reality is, and it's for any rookie, Marco Melandri, good to see him. For any rookie, you actually get extra test days as a rookie, but it's still not a lot. You get like 3 extra days at the Sepang test, so you end up where you've got 6 days there instead of 3. And then I think you get extra days also at the next, well, last time, this year it was Thailand. But anyway, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to deal with. The way a MotoGP bike feels, the bikes are stiffer. They don't turn naturally as much. There's not as much weight transfer, which is something Top Rack really relies on. But when you watch Top Rack, his skill level is so high that he will adapt. There's some people, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, are saying he won't be able to ride a MotoGP bike like a superbike. Well, no, he won't, but he'll adapt his style accordingly. I remember when Marc Marquez moved into MotoGP in 2013, everyone and a lot of experts in the paddock said he won't be able to ride a MotoGP bike as hard as he was riding a Moto2 bike. If he does, he'll be on his ear, he'll crash all the time. And Marquez won the World Championship in his first year. So Top Rack's a special talent. He really is, and he will adapt. And it's for me, it's more about 2027. I genuinely think next year is going to be a massive learning year. and then Top Rat will be in a position to fight for a world title in 2027.
Yeah, we've heard the riders in this paddock talking about how special he is. Dennis Onchu made me laugh. He was talking about, he was saying, better than Quartararo, better than Marc Marquez. You've got to love their chat. And it's unique, that little gang of them that train together in their pack in Turkey. They are really special. And actually, just to bring in a bit of personal stuff as well, they've suffered like immense tragedy. Him, Keenan, his boss as well. You know, and it seems to bring this kind of level that they race at that pushes it so far.
Watching them ride is special together on Keenan's kart track in Turkey. They elevate each other because they ride bar to bar at 100%. They risk injury by doing so, but because they're at such a high level, they turn up free practice one and they're immediately on the limit. And I think the confidence that it instills in Onju in Top Rack, in obviously Onju number 2 in Jan in World Supersport, then Batin Sofoglu, they work so well and it's such an intensity, and Keenan is the driving force behind it, but he instills a belief in them that they're as good, or they're better, as Dennis mentioned yesterday, they're better than anyone else. They just need the tools and the time to do it. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for that belief that working together instills in each of those riders.
And you know what, you can't argue with the facts. So when Top Rank moved onto Yamaha in World Superbikes, people said, oh, but his style won't suit a Yamaha. It's a Yamaha, you've got to carry corner speed, he'll really struggle. And he won the World Championship on the Yamaha, and then, shock to everyone, wow, he signed for BMW. BMW had thrown the kitchen sink at it over the years and had some very good riders and had very little success, never came anywhere near to winning a championship. And Top Rack jumped on that bike and absolutely, well, last year he won 13 races in a row, then had that horrible crash at Magny-Cours, if you remember, where he hit the fence. If he'd not crashed then, no one was beating him that year. He'd have won 20 races in a row. And at the time, he'd got a fast teammate in Michael van der Mark, as he has this year. Whilst Top Rat was winning all those races, van der Mark was battling between 5th and 15th. And he has done this year. I was at Misano last weekend, and Michael van der Mark crashed 3 times over the weekend and battled for 15th all weekend, whilst his teammate on the exact same bike won all 3 races with one arm tire behind his back. So we are talking about a special talent, Susan.
Yeah, I for one can't wait till he comes in and see what he can do. And as you say, 2027 probably going to be the big year, but be interesting to see how he adapts. And as you've explained there very well, he can adapt to anything, it seems. So yeah, welcome Top Rack. Good one. So Bez leading the way here, which is great to see. Home race for him as well.
Yeah, and like I said, that was the only, maybe the standout of the test was Bez. So let's hope they have found something. Obviously, we're at Silverstone anyway, and then you chalk off Aragon just because of the qualifying crash. So, and you almost feel like the DNA of this bike's built for this track, don't you, Michael? It's you can't get much more of a flowing track than Mugello.
Yeah, their one weakness, and we've seen it already in this session, the bike's a little bit more lively over the crest. When you hit the brakes into turn 1, Zeki kicks back a couple of gears when he was alongside Morbidelli, and you just look how the Ducati can decelerate with both wheels, and the Aprilia uses a little bit too much of the front. It's still an area they're trying to improve, but then it does bring about its strengths, as you mentioned, the flowing corners, the way it can turn, it really leans to its strengths then. So yeah, I think Bezecchi this weekend, obviously already fast, and we've seen the Aprilia rival the Ducati for speed down the front straight. It's coming together as a package, and yeah, I hope that Bezecchi can do it at home and battle with these Ducatis. This is their circuit and has been for a number of years now, so it'd be nice for the other Italian manufacturer in the field to get some success at home.
How do you feel about the tyre scenario here? I mean, ambient temperatures hitting the high 30s. I mean, the track, is there a critical point where the tyres could be falling off here?
It's always
hot here.
It's always hot here. It is. I did a lot of testing here with Ducati. I said it during Moto 3. After lunch, you'd have lunch and you'd go out on the track and it would feel horrible. And especially if you were testing something, you'd be trying something different, but the grip level just falls off a cliff edge. It feels really greasy. the bike doesn't want to turn, it feels heavy. Obviously, it's draining anyway on you, the heat coming off the bike. So it's tricky, but all these boys by now, they're so used to it. They'll have all done thousands of laps around here. I mean, it is going to be, the forecast looks like it's going to be slightly hotter than normal this weekend, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I know in the UK there's a heat wave, not predicted, it's happening, a heat wave. Yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic, isn't it, the weather in the UK? It's just been such the most incredible spring, loved it. They're going to get 30 degrees, we're getting high 30s here. Track temperature could be hitting, I'm guessing,
55.
55 to high 50s.
Yeah, high 50s.
Which is that is really high. But, you know, obviously we're used to sort of working in high 30s and that kind of temperature. But, yeah, it is going to be a bit of a scorchio weekend, but there is a thunderstorm predicted Saturday night, so the thunderhead clouds normally build up here and the rain happens in the evening, which could affect the track, I suppose, the condition of the track on Sunday morning in terms of washing off some of the rubber if it's a heavy rainstorm, for example.
We can see it here. It does happen. It rolls in over the mountaintops and you see a big cloud burst, and it does, as you mentioned, washes away the rubber, makes the track a little bit green for race day, and all the hard work through Friday and Saturday to analyse tyres and consumption in some ways goes out the window. But yeah, it remains to be seen. I guess it will, if it remains these temperatures, it will build to a potential thunderstorm, and that throws the cat amongst the pigeons slightly. Although you got to say, the data gathered by Ducati over all the tests, they'll know the tyre scenario, what's going to work and how to manage it over distance. It's the other manufacturers, you got to ask the questions, do they have that in their arsenal if the conditions do change on Sunday morning?
Yeah, they know it's going to cook this weekend, don't they? It's a nice mix of manufacturers at the front.
Yeah, Aprilia, Yamaha, Ducati, KTM, all inside the top 5. That's good. Mark's on a good lap halfway around. It's funny, so it's like, why does this track not suit Marc Marquez? Well, it's a clockwise track, so that means there's more right-hand corners than left-hand corners. We know he excels on left-hand corners.
Okay, but there's still a lot of clockwise tracks where he does excel.
Exactly.
Go again.
So, exactly. So, I've asked myself this question, and then it's only when you analyse the track map that it tells you the story. So, of course, there's left-hand corners. We've got a left-hand corner. We've got turn 2, turn 4, turn 7.
Just gone past this, by the way.
Turn 13 and the last corner. So we've got 5 decent left-hand corners, but over half of them on what I call Marc Marquez left-hand corners. The strange ones, like turn 2 is a corner where you only use half of the track because you're really setting up the exits. It's a chicane, essentially. So turn 2's a left-hander, chicane. Turn 4's a left-hander, chicane. Turn 7's a left-hander, chicane. The only proper left-hand corner on this track where Marc Marquez can use his, let's say, his freaky skill is his superpower is turn 15, the last corner. And that's why he's only ever won once here in MotoGP in all the years of trying.
Do you like that analogy, Michael?
Yeah, it is one of those tracks where you can't attack, and Marc loves to attack. So yeah, I do. I think, well, looking at his first laps here, he's not going to be far away this weekend. But it is one of those tracks that's never favoured him.
He's come close. I will back it up by saying he's won here once. He led it out of the last corner 1 year where Lorenzo slipstreamed him over the line, if you remember.
Lorenzo was insane around.
Yeah, this was exactly. Well, just think about this. Why Marquez struggles around here? Because this is a Lorenzo track. So think of 2 opposite riding styles. Think of the Lorenzo. Let the brake off, run through the corner. Relax your arms, the bike in line, beautiful sweeping lines. Then think about Marc Marquez race. Late on the brakes, the bike's out of shape, diving up the inside of someone, skating around. That style doesn't work around here.
Yeah, well put. Should we have a little chat about Andrea Dovizioso and the welcome return? Oh, he had a win around here, which was tremendous.
Yeah, you didn't say it.
Win one.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you remember the
most
emotional one was Petrucci, wasn't it?
Of course, I forgot about that.
Danilo Petrucci winning around here was so special, so magical. To dig that out over the weekend, actually, and relive that moment, I think. So, Andrea Dovizioso, we welcome him back into the paddock. He's just signed a 3-year deal with the Yamaha factory. It's a dual role, so test rider, and also, we normally refer to it as a rider coach. They're calling it a rider performance advisor. and it's kind of to increase the communication flow between the riders and the engineers, which is probably well needed at the moment with the amount of stuff that they're testing with the V4 engine, etc. Andrea, obviously known for his technical precision and his great way of explaining what needs to be done, so he's going to be able to go and test the bike and talk about the bike. And I think also he probably needed a little bit of time to decompress after being a full-time racer in this paddock. I mean, am I being very diplomatic there?
No.
But he needed like a little bit of time before he got his head around what he wanted to do.
Life after racing.
Yes.
But do you know what he did? He did what most professional riders do. He thought, do you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on motocross and I'm going to be like a semi-pro motocross rider. He had to go at that for a bit and thought, actually, this is hard work.
Until he ended up in hospital.
Exactly.
Hurt himself.
Because that's what, if you ride motocross to the level that Dobby can, bear in mind is a real high level, you're not hanging about. When it goes wrong, you are going to hospital, and that's what happened. And I think he's had let's say he's had his fun and he's had a play, and I'm sure he's had loads of social events. But you get to the point of, now what? Because guess what? There's a big hole. There's a hole when you finish racing and you've had the commitment he's had for so many years. So how do you fill that? Well, you fill it by staying involved. I got involved with the TV. Some people are team managers and TV. I mean, Michael does everything. But but as we know, you know, how many riders, ex-riders, are in this paddock working loads? Because how do you fill the hole? Well, you fill it by staying involved. Because we love this sport, and I think the new role that Yamaha have made for him is perfect. Test rider, but also working between that important connection between rider and factory. Where have the Japanese manufacturers lacked over the years? That's been the one element. A lot of people have said that the translation over to how, compared to the European teams, that seems a better connection between rider and team.
He's essentially acting as a technical fast-track conduit between the riders and the engineers.
I like that. Yeah, it is. It's so important because the riders in this stressed environment throughout a race weekend, they say the points, they say them under duress when you've just been pumped full of adrenaline, you've jumped off the bike, and sometimes you're not as clear as you need to be. Having a rider like Dovey in there who will have rode this bike, understand how it reacts, and then interpret the rider's feedback, re-explain it, make sure and hammer it home to the, might not be the crew chief, but the engineers back in the truck, to make sure they're really clear on what point needs improved or what needs working on, and make sure the comment is clear. And it's invaluable. I think it can make a massive difference to fast-tracking it and then getting that information back to Japan, getting those parts prototyped on the test track where Dobby himself will test them, provide that feedback, then get them to the racetrack with either the satellite team or directly to the factory squad. I think it's going to be such an asset to the factory as an overall package.
And it's easy to forget, because of Ducati's dominance, that Dobby played such a huge part in that. Obviously, Gigi Dell'Igna, the genius, the guru, creates and builds a bike, but what he needed was a fast, intelligent, consistent rider, which Andrea Dovizioso was. His feedback was impeccable, accurate, always consistent, not too emotional. Think of Dobby. How many times do you see him waving his arms around?
No.
Just got on with the business. And I mean, I genuinely could not think of a better man for that role at Yamaha.
Yeah, it does seem like they're two peas in a pod, doesn't it? It seems really perfect. Just talking to his manager, Simone Battistello at Heathrow Airport on the way out here, and he's really happy with the situation. Yeah, well, maybe for different reasons. But
hang on, sorry to interrupt you. Well, hang on. So a manager of a retired racer who's now got him a 3-year contract is happy.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. I'll tell you what, he's done his job. He has.
He has done his job. Let's not be so basic, though. Not all managers are, like you.
Like me.
Exactly. No, but, he obviously been working on that deal, because I talked to him about it earlier this season when he was here, and it's all come in, and it is good. And it does seem like a match made in heaven, so we'll move on from that now. What do you think of Fabio Quartararo from what you're seeing body language-wise and in terms of where they are, Yamaha, at the moment?
Obviously, Aragon was when you look at their run, Aragon was a tough weekend. They struggled so much with the chatter with the grip levels there, with the new electronic strategy they've been working on. But these early laps, he's back 4 laps in and he's immediately at a 46.6. Good to see that this circuit, as you mentioned, has been a Yamaha track over the years, and it's working for Fabio so far this weekend. Jack Miller not far away, down in 12th, 1.1 off. Oliveira right on Jack's tail. Oliveira's got to hurry up all of a sudden, obviously fighting for that remaining Pramac seat next year. Rins is the out of the 4 Yamaha riders, the one struggling the most this season, down in 18th. But yeah, there's definitely good signs here this weekend for Fabio, in touch once again.
Well, if we look at Digi on track, let's just expand that conversation then about Top Rat coming over. Obviously, one in, one's got to go out. It's Jack that's contract runs out this season. Miguel obviously has been injured this season. Jack has been performing really well for Yamaha. How do you see this going?
What it sounds like with Miguel Oliveira's contract, basically, if he's not the top rider in Pramac, so if he's behind Jack Miller in the standings, then essentially he's on a 1-year deal. So he's in the danger zone because Oliveira, due to injury, is behind Jack. So where we thought, well, of course, the fact that Oliveira's got a 2-year deal, you thought he's safe and Jack's out, but that's not the case as it's turned out. So, but it sounds like Yamaha is still saying at this point they're in a position where they don't have to make the decision now, so they're going to see how, probably give it another 3 or 4 rounds to see how it progresses. One thing I'm definitely aware of is there's a lot of interest from the World Superbike paddock for Jack Miller, and I'm assuming it will be the same for Miguel Oliveira. There are seats available. It sounds like it's going to be the seats available on the factory Honda in World Superbikes. There's definitely, obviously, a factory BMW ride. That's Top Rat's ride. And also at Ducati, it's been announced that Bautista is leaving the factory team. The Ducati is the best bike in World Superbikes as well as here. So there is a seat available, albeit it doesn't sound like it's going to be a highly paid one because they've had to pay quite a lot of money to keep their #1 rider, Bulega. So that's so at least there are options for whoever gets booted out of the Pramac Yamaha team.
Yeah, Pramac Yamaha have said that they will announce in due course, you know, what is going to happen. And as you say, probably in 3 or 4 races' time, maybe after the summer break would
make
like
sense.
The sensible option.
I also heard rumours, I don't know, and this is just paddock rumours, there is nothing strong behind it, that both riders could potentially be out, which would be strange, and they might take a punt on a Manu Gonzalez because they can, you know, a Moto2 rider before somebody else steals the talent of someone like Manu Gonzalez.
Wouldn't you keep an experienced rider in with Top Rack?
Absolutely, that's exactly what I thought. When I heard that rumour, I thought that makes no sense to me. You definitely keep the security of having an experienced rider.
I read this, I think. I don't know if I've dreamt it. Sometimes my dreams and reality mix up. I don't know about that. But I feel like I've read... personal insight. I feel like I've read that Aprilia and Jorge Martin have kind of reached a sort of agreement where they've you know, it's all softened down a bit.
You've definitely dreamt that.
Have I dreamt that?
Yeah. I'm not aware of it. I don't think any... Are you, Michael?
I haven't heard it either.
No, that's a dream, Susie. It's a dream.
Oh, God.
So, right, so my dream last night...
Change my job.
So I was running,
go on then.
I was running through this field.
Naked?
Obs. No, no.
What is that about when you get one of those dreams where you've got your top on and no pants? What does that mean?
We were talking about dreams, me and Gav, this morning, and he was, get ready for this, this is how weird dreams are. He was late for commentary, and he was trying to find the commentary box, and he couldn't find it, and he knew that I'd be commentating on my own, and it'd be a disaster. So, and I went, oh, wow. I said, do you know what my common dream is? I'm racing a bike, and it's really slow, and there's nothing I can do about it, and that's like my reoccurring, like,
it's
annoying.
being out of control, isn't
yeah.
it? It's insecurities normally, I think.
And yours is what? You're running without a top?
No,
and
let's move on. Let's move on.
Yeah. I can
As
feel
we look at Johan Zarco on track with that glorious victory in Le Mans, it seems like ages ago now, doesn't it? But what a performance he's been putting in this season, Michael.
Yeah, Silverstone, Le Mans, 2 standout rides for him so far this season, but consistently working with the HRC development parts. It is obviously the LCR squad run by Lucio Cecchinello, a quality outfit. They do have direct HRC support, and the material comes in. Zarko tests it first, and he is fast. He's on the money everywhere. I like the GV livery this weekend. Obviously, we do love the Castrol, but at home, Lucio has brought out the main title sponsor, GV, the scooter luggage or all bike luggage supplier. But yeah, it looks good, and Zarko on form here. He's out there with a hard front on. We've seen a little bit of a mix of soft and hard front tyres so far in this session, but yeah, Zarko's looking good.
Talking of liveries, the R46 are running a special livery this weekend.
Don't
Would you like to expand on your feelings about it?
Can you imagine my chimp, Nigel? He's not happy with it at all. I said to Gav, I don't know if have you ever been to a helmet painter's place? My brother used to paint helmets, my brother Carl. And at the back of the spray booth, when there's loads of overspray and it just looks a right mess, that's what the VR46 livery looks like. What's so strange, when Valentino raced, he always got it right. He was so cool and stylish, working with Aldo Drudi, who's like literally the most famous painter in our industry. And in recent years, when they've tried stuff, they always seem to get it wrong, and it just looks it looks like a bag full of overspray. That's all I can say. That's my opinion.
It feels like it's got every single colour you can possibly imagine on it, and it is weird. It doesn't look like it's been designed, but it has been designed. Maybe it's an Italian style that we're just not getting.
Yeah, there is that. I'm not a fan either. I haven't been a fan of the VR46 bikes of late, which is strange because, as Neil said, Valentino got it so right throughout all his career. Every one-off livery was so special.
Every livery from 125.
125,
yeah. Iconic liveries, just iconic design. The stars and the moon, everything worked to the nth degree. He would put his own stickers on his bike. He had like a big thing about that because he's so superstitious. He has to do it himself. He's always done it since he was a child. It was exact.
That's the area he's talking about. That you know, turning in on the brakes. Then you see him. You saw him sit the bike up. Sorry, Susie, go on.
No, anyway, just the the VR46. It's something to behold, let's say, but you might need to turn your colour down a little bit on your TV.
And even let's just watch this. So this is the area he's talking about, tipping in. Oh, it's really interesting. As he tipped in, you could see the bike, the rear just stepped out a little bit, but a bit too much. And at that point, he just released the brake, and then it kicks back in line and essentially pushes you into the corner. There you go. That's that little movement. It looks nothing, and it sort of is nothing. But that's the outcome. That's what happens after. And I love that. Pats the back and gives it the thumbs up, going, "Well done," blaming the bike. Not a good sign.
It's been doing that a lot this year.
It's not a good sign at this weekend.
There's been quite a lot of sarcasm with him and his bike.
Yeah.
They're not as one, and that's where the problem. Well, you see it bubbling over, really, don't you? Because when you're winning races, you and your bike, you and your steed are one.
Yeah.
It's an extension of your body.
It so is. It so is. And you love your motorcycle. And then when it's all going wrong, you hate it. That's how it is.
Be your girlfriend and your ex-girlfriend all in one weekend.
All in one weekend. All in one lap. Yeah. Same for everyone, though. Everyone feels the same. Got that wrong as well. Look at that. Missed that by an absolute mile. Weird, because it came out the gate, but then, Michael, when I was talking at the time, they were messing with the disc. What were they? Were they putting bigger ones on?
They went back to the 340s, which is the middle of the range. You got 320, 340, and then the big ones are 355, which we know Pecco tested them at Aragon with the big 355s, getting more power, more initial bite, and more load into the front tyre, giving them that feeling to stop. But it looks like in the middle of the session, they definitely have alternated. They've gone back. Gavin Emmett has been sending me some pictures down in pit lane. They've got the two aero bodies on Pecco's both bikes. They've got the different discs. So, yeah, still trying to find something. But he's really not happy with this exit.
I tell you what, they've learned something there. Whatever the combination is on that exit, that is a million miles off, isn't it? I mean, he missed every corner there, literally every corner. And that's, like I said, the man who's dug a groove around the racing line, and he knows the sort of S sections of Mugello. He knows how to be patient on entry, work on your exit, and he was doing anything but that then.
So within one session, with 5 minutes to go. He's almost gone hero to zero here. Come out of the traps looking great. We're praising him. We're thinking he got that front end confidence, dancing into turn one.
Yep.
Yep. And now here we are with him all at sea again. I mean, yeah, okay, he's sitting in 5th, but Pecco Acosta's just gone fast, and we're going to see some, you know, probably faster laps coming in now. And once again, now scratching his head.
You wanted to go the other way, a tough start and then build it to a better setting, but they've engineered it the wrong way here, which sometimes you learn as much from when it doesn't quite work and you go back in the other direction. These are the shots into turn 1, but Pecco likes it sideways, but that just doesn't look as consistent. You can see he's wide in the front, bobbling as he's entering a little too fast, not decelerating the way he likes to.
But it's literally every corner. Like here, you know where to brake. What it looks like as the rear, it's kicking out. It looks a little bit nervous, Michael, because then it's kicking back straight and pushing him forward. And then at that point, it looks like he daren't trail brake.
Yeah.
Like it's going to, I'm going to lose the front. It's overloading the front, which that is the sensation it gives you, but that's what he was so good at, that area.
Interesting. One thing after the other at the moment, isn't it? Just talk about the KTMs for a minute, because if you look at the top 10, Binder's just moved into the top 10. Obviously, Maverick Vinales has been having a good session per se, and Pedro Acosta's top of the...
Yeah, look, it definitely, I mean, if you think of, as far as the manufacturers go in this championship, how the start of the season, it's been the biggest, let's say, been the biggest disappointment this year. And it, especially for Pedro Acosta in his second season, he thought he was going to have a chance to have a fight for the title, or certainly fight for the top 3, and that's obviously not been the case. He sits down in 8th in the championship. So
you have to wonder there, for such a quick pit stop, obviously 3 minutes left, he can get out, whether it's just an electronic strategy change on the engine brake mapping to go out and get a feel and see if it's in the right direction.
Normally in free practice, we don't bear a lot of importance on it, but I'm just wondering, these last 3 minutes for Pecco, how important do you think they are in terms of the way the season's gone so far?
I don't want to say critical, but yeah, important. You can see Pecco does in this 2025, their one aero evolution, they tested it. He's got one on one bike, which he hasn't been riding over these last few laps. He's been on the current aero body, which Mark's used all year, and Mark's got both bikes with this aero setup.
with the old one.
Yeah. There's 3 Ducatis in the garage, and then just this one bike of Pecco. You can see the front wing, it's a little bigger. The middle wing, they've made that a lot smaller, and then the downwash duct, it's quite a bit bigger, and it's got 2 vanes in it as well. So there's definitely a lot more focus on the ground effect, and perhaps providing a little more turning with that bigger lower ducting.
But that's not on this bike.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is the original aero body they've used all season.
Yeah.
But yeah, these laps, Susie, this is, it's quite crucial for him to make sure he's got it back in that window and the feeling he had in the early laps when he went out and set a good pace. I think he switched to the soft front tyre as well, which perhaps that could be causing the issues, not giving him the feedback he needs on braking. He's back out with the soft front on again as well. We'll see the shots going into turn 1 will tell a tale here. Obviously, outlap building into it, and that he'll hit the brakes where he knows he can stop into turn 1. Let's see if the slide from the rear is giving him the amount of stopping he needs.
KTM 1 and 2. How pleasing is this though, with everything that's gone on with KTM? Obviously, we know the financial problems, and the way the season started, it's a strange wheelie there.
Yeah, it was.
You rarely get a wheelie there. I remember Mick Doohan getting a wheelie there one time and nearly running off the track, like a weird one. He had a slide on the 500, and it was during the race, and it gripped and wheelied and sent him straight on into the gravel.
Yeah, so KTM, Aprilia, Ducati, Yamaha. I don't think anybody would, and then another KTM. I don't think anybody would have had that.
Not at all. This is Ducati. Obviously, this is Ducati dominance, isn't it? We've seen it over the past 3 or 4 seasons. So, yeah, it's a nice start to the weekend, and let's hope it stays like that.
So They tested the ship to shore again, didn't they, in the test with the bone conductor.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Mixed results.
Was it Brad Binder loved it? There was a writer who said, yeah, it's amazing. I can't remember. I think it was Brad.
Wasn't it Salvadori?
Maybe.
And then you have to say, well...
At that
okay.
pace, you've time to think.
But that's the problem, isn't it?
Oh, this could be tricky.
Not a lot of run off there.
No, he's done well there.
Yeah, if you're going at speed and you're concentrating and someone suddenly talks to you from silence, well, not silence, but the silence as it gets in your helmet.
I'd hate that.
Yeah. And it's right in your head.
I can't multitask at the best of times.
No, you can't. Ever. I don't know how you ever raced a motorcycle to the World Championship. I really don't.
No, I don't.
Because you had to do more than one thing at once. Must have been a use.
No. I just did the riding. Like I said, if someone was speaking to me, that would really put me off.
Yeah, but it's like, Michael, if someone talks to you while you're on the phone.
Oh, I can't go.
No, but I think that's a man-woman thing, because women
Right.
can cope, because they can take information in and, put it out there, whereas generally, I'm generalising, I know, but generally, if you
People
speak to
will
a man, they
complain
put
about
the hand up as if to say, like, shut up, I can't listen to you and talk at the same time. Surely we're going to have 22 men going around the track like this with the hand in the air if they start to use it. But it sounds like they do want to start to use it.
Is that for next year? Do we know if that's happening?
It's still being talked about.
Is this more of a TV thing, Liberty, so that we can hear that as well?
I think so.
Is that part of the show?
There is a safety element to it that obviously they can't communicate immediately if there's something oncoming in case the rider doesn't see the message on their dash, and you can have sections of the racetrack where you're allowed to speak to the riders and others where you're not. But yeah, it's interesting that Alana Fellows informs me it was not Brad who loved it, so yeah, I'm not sure where. I definitely read one current rider who really did like the system.
I know Brad Binder quite well. I can't imagine him liking
If he's
it.
just saying it just to rile people up a bit. Look at Bez, fans.
Hey, look at this. We've got the exact same time. So first and equal the same time. First and second have done the same lap time.
That's unbelievable.
I don't know. I'm trying to say it. I don't know why I can't say it.
Well, one's an Aprilia and one's a KTM.
It's a KTM. Look at that.
That is extraordinary.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. We've seen obviously people have the same lap time. I don't think have we seen it in a session?
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
146.199 for Bezzecchi and for Pedro Acosta. How? Michael, how?
Round a long lap as well. It's not short.
No.
What is it round here?
Brad Binder in third, Marc Marquez in fourth, Fabio Di Gianantonio remains fifth, Quartararo sixth, Vinales seventh, Pecco Bagnaia down in eighth, Alex Marquez ninth, and Zarco just in the top 10 with Jack Miller just out. That is some top 10.
Well, all season, that's the most varied top 10. Pretty much all season. So the 8. Oh, that's a flag.
Is that a flag big enough?
That's a flag. I tell you what, that's actually a rival to an American flag. No, when we go to the Circuit of Americas, you see some big flags there, don't you? But that's impressive.
Yeah, I tell you what, he'll be loving that in front of his home crowd, won't he?
Who, Bez? Yeah. I thought, the flag carrier.
I'll have the flag carrier, yeah.
The flag carrier must have some arm on him to ride a scooter
and it was
hold
flapping
that.
away, wasn't it? That's good training, that is. We ought to go out afterwards and get on that scooter with the flag.
Get some flags. But all season up to this point, it's been the Marquez brothers up there, pretty much, hasn't it? First or second.
Yeah.
If you look at that, it's an interesting top 10.
And of all the tracks to say, this is the track that can buck the trend. No. Why would you pick Mugello?
I want to say it's off the back of this test in Aragon where we've evolved our Aprilia package, evolved our KTMs. We're looking a little bit stronger at Yamaha. Everything's beginning to put a bit of a fight back to Ducati in their backyard. We know that Ducati will respond this afternoon. They will figure something out for Mark, for Pecco, just find a little bit of something. Alex isn't far away, but down in ninth, not where he wants to start his weekend. A little adrift, half a second off the time set by Bezzecchi.
Yeah, you've got to say that this test has definitely been involved in this, in aiding in some way, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially for Bezzecchi.
Imagine now then, so if Bezzecchi has found something, bear in mind it's his first year on it, isn't it? So and you don't get a lot of testing. But let's just say it clicks for Bsky now, and he can go on a bit of a roll and win some races. If you're Jorge Martin sat at home, you're thinking, do you know what?
Yeah.
Why don't I just...
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Why don't I just stay?
But you know, I've foreseen this. It'll be okay.
This was in your dream?
This was in my dream.
Okay.
I'm sure I read it somewhere. It'll be fine. It'll work out.
Good to see Ayagura's obviously feeling okay. He's only 0.8 of a second off.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it?
Missed the last round. Actually, Chatra's only 1.6 seconds off. It's as close as he's been since Thailand. Round 1.
Yeah, so it's a bit early to say, but I always ask you at the end of the session, really towards the end of the session, you know, how you think things are going to pan out. I mean, if you're Pekka Bagnaia, you're not actually ahead of your teammate at this stage, which is not where he wants to be.
No, you'd have to say, if you're Pekka Bagnaia, you'd be disappointed with that session. Unless they have... this is what always happens, Susie. You have to reconfirm things. So you think you know what you know, with a certain feeling, with you, let's say it's the dis, and then maybe he's tried the other ones again to go, let me just double check it at my reference track, because whatever he tried wasn't working, was it? So then, obviously we're seeing the negative aspect of it on our screen, but that can be a positive, because then you go, no, I am now 100% confirmed that this is the direction we need to go in. So
ruling out is as important as ruling in, effectively, isn't it?
That's why, as a rider, when you have a setting change, often, even it can be quite a big one, you can ride round and you can come in and you can go, I can't feel a difference. And what's important as a rider is always to be honest, because sometimes you can try and talk yourself into an answer. You think, well, surely we'd lowered the rear of the bike, it should have created more grip. I think there was more grip. If you didn't feel any difference, then just basically you've always got to relay that to your engineers.
Yes, we've got our practice starts around here. Neil's favourite.
Love a practice start. Looks like KTM have trying a new seat unit with some different aero on it. It looks like there's no aero on it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the thing.
Yeah. See if we can see it on Binder's bike. Oh, someone's in the gravel. Someone's got that wrong on their practice start. Let's hope they've not crashed, whoever that is. It is tricky over that blind crest.
I can't say we haven't seen much body language on this session, can we? We've seen plenty from Pecco.
Oh! Digi's spun up then.
That's the new Ducati Aero body on Digi's GP25 as well.
It does look bigger, doesn't it?
A lot more.
Wow, look how fatter it is at the bottom as well. That's wider, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot bigger than the bottom.
The ground effect.
Yeah, the ground effect scenario working there.
Watch Digi. Get ready now. We're going to spin up quite a lot.
Good session for Digi, though. 5th fastest.
Yeah.
Digi's one of those riders around here that could spring a surprise. We've not quite seen the Digi we've expected so far this season. Or obviously we know he was injured pre-season and started a little bit on the back foot, but yeah, he's getting things together inside the VR46 garage.
I think that injury actually is, you know, he has taken quite a lot of time to come back to 100%, it seems, and regain his confidence and the feeling with the front of that bike as well. And perhaps now it's all coming together, as we just saw shots of Max Biaggi, obviously an ambassador for the Aprilia team. They've got to be pretty happy with the way things are going this weekend so far.
He's always got a funny way of starting. Have you seen that with Alex Marquez? So he sits bolt upright and literally just before he lets the clutch down, he puts his head down. I've noticed it because obviously I commentate on the race, and there's been a few times I've wanted to say, Alex Marquez has got a problem.
Yeah.
Because everyone's in like their start position and Alex sits up like this, bolt upright, and then it's a real strange technique. shame. Like, look, like Bez has got his head down. Most riders start with their head down. I can't remember what Mark does. Yeah, he's more, not quite fully down. Look at that, it's motocross, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's old school motocross. Elbows out.
With the lower device in the front, obviously that attack position certainly works to keep a bit more weight over the front. But sometimes the head-up scenario, when the old way, whenever you didn't have the front lowered down, as the wheelie came up and you moved your body down towards it, you could counteract it a little bit on the initial clutch drop. But yeah, it is certainly a different way to start these bikes now with the bike. Oh, Pecco getting it lit up there. Well, the grip looks quite good here on these starts. There is still a bit of wheel spin to be had.
Anxiety in Ducati pit, shock horror.
We've seen that quite a few times over the years, haven't we? Yeah, Pecco's wife certainly wears her heart on her face. I know that's not a saying. I know it's not a saying, but you know
I know what you mean.
You know.
I'm not sure you've ever got a saying right, so we don't pick you up on it, but we know what you mean. We know what
It's
you
definitely
mean.
a Sylvan.
She's a stress ball.
Yeah, that was a
so-
Sylvan saying. Where is
Yeah,
it? Where's Sylvan?
actually, Gav's just walked in. Did you have an Aprilia 1 and a KTM 2.3 in this session on your little bingo card?
I knew he'd nod.
You did, yes.
All knowing.
If you want any winners for Ascot, just message Gavin Emmett on Twitter and he'll let you know who's coming in this week. But
So
yeah,
Mark's got some different coloured gloves on, so I'm assuming he's going to have a different helmet design for this weekend.
that's positive.
Yeah, just as I saw them, they like some weird brown-looking gloves. So why he's doing that is a lot of the times to put brand new gloves on for a race, like on race days, too risky. So he's wanting to at least have done a proper session in them and bed them in properly.
Perfect Vinales enjoying the little scenic route round and way into the crowd.
Bez,
Bez, what did I say? I don't know what's wrong with me today.
it's those dreams, Susie.
No, I think it
It's
is.
those dreams. No, but I am pleased for Marco Bezzecchi. Like I say, it was a tough one last time out, wasn't it?
It could be Bez coming good.
Good.
Yeah.
Long term, getting, confidence back, having had a nightmare, obviously, in Aragon. If we can string some results together now, we might see what we saw a few years ago when he was running up front.
But the nightmare won't have affected him as much because the speed was there. If the speed's not there and you have a tough weekend, then it's one thing. But he came off Silverstone, the victory there, turned up at Aragon, unlucky to crash. And that derailed his weekend, but he was fast, and now he's had the test and he's rolled on to here with what I believe was new electronic strategies they mainly worked on in Aragon, and then turned up here and leading the way from the first session. So yeah, all good for the number 72 and smiles all round.
Yeah, that's good to see. It's good to see, isn't it? He's had such a difficult time. He had to make difficult decisions, leaving the VR46 camp, his home, his family, effectively his racing family, to come to Aprilia to see what would happen there, and then Jorge Martin not joining alongside him and him having to fly the Aprilia flag and be the El Capitan, as they would say.
Yeah, that's
in that
it's
team.
probably
He's doing it really well.
Probably that bit. He does look different with his haircut, doesn't he?
It's since he's had his haircut that it's
Yeah,
all
it
started
does,
to go
actually.
right.
It does. Actually, not having Jorge Martin in the garage will have probably helped him, because you did feel like, obviously, coming in as world champion Jorge Martin, all the attention was always going to be on him, and that's sometimes difficult if you get that sense that I'm the clear number 2 in this team. So I think that might have helped him. On a personal side, the negative side is development of the bike and not having someone super fast so that you can share data.
Double data, yeah.
Yeah, because with Savadori, with all due respect, he's 1.8 seconds slower than him. It's irrelevant looking at his data.
Yeah, he's doing what he can do and didn't expect to be in the position that he's in. Great for Savadori, though, to get this long run out. But there must be big smiles down in the KTM garage with both riders up there in second and third. What a great session it was for KTM.
Yeah, speed record holders around this venue. Let's not forget the fastest ever top speed set by KTM, and could it be beaten this weekend? 362 this morning for Brad Binder.
What is it? What is the record? I can't remember what it is.
365 or 365?
All right, so we're not far off, because that'll be without Oh, it's 366.
366.
Is the best. So we're only 4 clicks off, and you'd assume in a free practice session it's rare you get a really good slipstream. It's obviously more in a race scenario.
So that's the end then of the first session here for the MotoGP Italian Grand Prix weekend. A lot of fun, a lot of intrigue, exactly the same time set at the top. We'll see you later for all the action from the practice hour. Take care. Bye-bye.